Triage Wireless is a very interesting company in the smart Band-Aid space. They're in development, so they're not yet commercial, but you can see what's happening there. If you look at the picture on the right, you're seeing a wired version of one of their Band-Aids, and you can see the size of what the wireless version will look like to the right in the hand. What their Band-Aids do is measure a variety of vital signs. But the most interesting vital sign that they figured out how to measure is blood pressure. This is blood pressure without a cuff. And this is really a piece of really interesting technological breakthrough because nobody's been able to measure blood pressure without a cuff or an invasive line inside of the body. And this particular methodology is particularly accurate. And so what they're able to do is having patients wear their Band-Aid system. Those Band-Aids can communicate to a local area monitor. You can kind of see the monitor. It's a little white device to the right of the gentleman. That can actually be, say, Velcro to grandma's bed, or be put on the bedside stand so a home health nurse or a family caregiver can keep track of the vital signs. But that device also has a cell phone in it, so it can actually be part of a remote monitoring system as well. So a hospital could actually remotely monitor and keep track of its patients that are at home. So this is a good example of a system that's developing, ultimately meant to be relatively inexpensive Band-Aids, disposable. We will see Band-Aids like this first go into the hospital setting. We will then see them go home with patients. And then I believe in the long run we will actually see doctors who say, listen, go get some of these Band-Aids, put them on, we'll decide whether you even need to come into the hospital. So these are very, very interesting pieces of technology. The next one is then what we call a drug delivery patch. This is essentially also a Band-Aid, except it's a Band-Aid disposable IV pump. So it's a little mini IV pump, a little micro pump that you can peel and stick, slap it on you, and then wirelessly control the amount of drug that's being delivered. So you've all heard, I'm sure, of people on morphine pumps, for example, for pain control. This would allow your doctor to adjust your morphine drip rate from literally across the country. That's just one example of how to deliver drug and wirelessly control the drug. Another very interesting area, also on drug delivery, this is an implant that goes underneath the skin but is wirelessly controlled, also for drug delivery. So this is a system that can last as long as a year directly underneath the skin in what's called the subcutaneous area, and then be wirelessly managed to release different doses of drugs for drug therapy, also currently in trials. And then finally, down here at the bottom is our remote mobile clinics, which for developing countries like India, Apollo Telemedicine is one of the largest telemedicine operations in the world, based in India. And here, essentially, what's being developed are clinics so that non-physicians can interface with patients in remote villages and have telemedicine interactions with physicians that are in the major cities. And this is something obviously that's of a lot of interest in the developing countries. Susan mentioned wireless pills. Proteus Biomedical out of San Francisco is developing just as such. What you're seeing are pictures of pills that have integrated circuits in them with radios. There's no battery. So the question is, how does the radio work? Well, it turns out your stomach acid makes a very nice battery. So you swallow that pill, your stomach acid forms the battery, powers the radio for about 10 minutes. That radio transmits a signal, including the electronic serial number of that individual pill. So this goes a long way against counterfeiting problems, which are actually larger than folks might imagine, and is received by a receiving radio that's actually part of a Band-Aid system that's worn on your abdomen. And then that Band-Aid communicates to a gateway device that could actually be a cell phone or a specialty device.